How to grow a plant. The first thing you need to do is select a type of plant that thrives in your growing region. In Alaska, this is very important because not all plants can grow in every region. The area's temperature and climate greatly affect the plant's chances of success. If you live in a northern region, for example, you'll have trouble growing a plant native to a tropical rainforest. When you go to pick out the seeds you want to plant, do a little research to make sure that the plant species will do well in your area's climate and temperatures. If you have a greenhouse or plan to grow your plant indoors, you might be able to plant a seed even if the species is not native to your growing region. A good way to figure out what plants grow well in your area is to visit a local nursery and talk with an employee there. They will be able to help you pick out hardy seeds that have the greatest chance of germinating and growing into healthy plants, especially for your region. Some seeds are easy to plant in many growing regions and under a lot of different conditions. Look for these quote-unquote easy seeds, which are handy and simple to grow for the beginning gardener. Next, you need to know what time of year to plant the seeds. The time of year you plant seeds is determined by both the plant's needs as well as your growing region. If you live in a place with long, cold winters, you may need to wait until mid-spring to plant your seeds. For most Alaskans, this means mid-April. If you live in a place that warms up early in the year, you can probably start your seeds earlier. Be sure to check your seed packet for information on how early to start your seeds. Starting seeds too early or too late can prevent germination from occurring. So figuring out the right time to plant is necessary for success. Keep in mind that most vegetable seeds need to be started at least 2 weeks before the last frost, and some as early as 2 to 3 months before the last frost. Even if you live in a cold area, you'll need to plan ahead to make sure you start your seeds in time for the growing season. Conducting research on the seeds you are planting is strongly encouraged. After you know what seeds you are going to plant, get seed starting supplies. Most seeds need similar growing conditions when they are first starting out. When the seeds sprout and grow into plants, they'll have more specific needs in terms of soil, sun, and temperature. To get ready for planting the seeds, you will need the following supplies. Seed containers. Each seed will need 1 to 2 inches of growing space to germinate and take root. You can grow them all together in an open, flat container, or choose individual seed containers. Reusing containers from your home can also be a great idea. Try making your containers out of recycled yogurt cups or egg cartons. Seeds. Make sure you have all the seeds that you will need to get started. Select a seed growing medium. Seeds contain all of the nutrients that they need to germinate, so there is no need to use a growing medium that has been enriched with nutrients. Don't use potting soil, since it's too dense for fragile new roots to penetrate. Nurseries sell bags of seed starting mix if you don't want to make your own. Once you have all of the supplies ready, prepare the growing containers. Start by moistening your seed starting medium thoroughly so that it provides a good growing environment for the seeds. Fill the containers with the medium, leaving about a ½ inch of space between the top of the growing medium and the rim of the containers. Place the containers in a sunny, well-ventilated area with steady, warm temperatures. With your growing containers prepped, sow the seeds. The way you sow your seeds is depending on what type of plant you are growing, so it is necessary to read the seed packet carefully first. Many seeds can be scattered evenly across the surface of the growing medium, but be sure not to place too many seeds in the same growing container. You don't want them to crowd each other too much. Some seeds should be planted about a ½ to a ¼ of an inch below the surface of the growing medium. Read your seed packet to make sure you sow the seeds correctly. Some seeds do best when they are chilled or soaked before sowing. Your seed packet will also help you to be sure you're providing the right sunlight conditions for your specific seed species. Most seeds can germinate without light, but they'll need sun as soon as they sprout. Most seeds do best with a temperature of about 78 degrees, but some need colder or warmer conditions to germinate. It is important to keep the seeds moist. Seed growing mediums tend to dry out quickly since there's no soil to hold the water. Be sure to water your seeds consistently, never allowing them to dry out too much. You can lightly drape a piece of plastic wrap over the seed trays to help them trap in moisture, but be careful not to overwater the containers or the seeds could become waterlogged. They should be damp to the touch but not dripping wet. Keeping the seedlings healthy. The seeds sprout into seedlings, which can be seen as thin green stems emerging from the growing medium. If the containers aren't already placed in a sunny area, be sure to move them to a place where there is direct sunlight. Keep them moist at all times and make sure the temperature never drops below the recommended level indicated on the seed packet. After a week or two, you will need to weed out the weaker looking seedlings. This is so that the stronger seedlings have more room to grow. It is best to leave about 2 to 3 seedlings per container. Plan to transplant the seedlings after the last frost. If you have timed the planting right, the seedlings should have a set of mature leaves and be ready to transplant for the growing season, which starts just after the last frost of the year. This falls in a different month depending on where you live. If you are unsure when the last frost may take place, ask for advice from your local nursery. A few days before you are ready to plant the seedlings, move them to an outdoor shed or garage. This will help them to get used to the outdoor climate before you place them directly in the ground. Without this extra time to acclimate, the shock of the transplant could cause seedlings to suffer. If you don't have a covered outdoor area, you can place the seedlings outside and construct a makeshift shelter, or leave them in the sun during the day and cover them with a cardboard box to protect them from the wind at night. You could also drop the indoor temperatures to match the outdoor temperature in the room where you are keeping the seedlings. Prepare the planting bed according to the plant's needs. The planting bed should be located in an area that gets the proper amount of sunlight and shade for your plant needs. The soil should have the correct pH balance and composition of nutrients. Be sure that it drains well too. To plant the seedlings in the ground, dig holes in the ground to a depth specified in the seed package. Make sure that the holes are spaced far enough apart so the plants will have plenty of room to grow. Carefully lift the seedlings from their containers, gently separate the roots, and plant them in the holes you have dug. Water and fertilize the seedlings, and continue to provide the correct conditions for the plants to grow happy and healthy.